Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Always fun.
This time, we're going to be looking at a conversation between two people.
Okay.
And it's about some tricky personal issues they're going through.
Sounds juicy.
Oh, it is definitely juicy.
Oh, good.
So we're going to kind of unpack their dynamics,
Okay.
how they relate to each other, their coping mechanisms, all that good psychology stuff, and how their families shape their present,
Right.
like all that nature versus nurture stuff.
Yeah. Always fascinating.
It really is.
It is.
What I think is so interesting about this one
Okay. Yeah.
is that it's such a casual conversation, but there's so much going on underneath.
Exactly.
Like, they even use this metaphor of an iceberg.
Oh, yeah.
You only see the tip, but...
There's so much more underneath.
Exactly.
Right? Like hidden depths.
And they're hidden for a reason.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it makes you think, how much do we ever really know about our partners?
Oh, totally. Even the ones we're closest to.
Yeah. And how do all those, unseen parts influence how things play out?
And one of the speakers even talks about it as like a gamble.
Oh, interesting.
Like revealing those hidden parts.
Yeah.
Do you risk it?
Yeah. Is it worth it?
Exactly.
Wow. That's a good way to put it.
That's a really good point, I think.
Yeah. So much of relationships is about that.
Totally.
Like how much you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
The risks, the rewards of being vulnerable.
Vulnerability. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But before we go too deep into that iceberg,
Okay.
let's look at how these two people are even interacting.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. The surface level.
Yeah.
What did you notice about that?
Well, it's pretty clear that one person's looking for advice and support.
Yeah. They're kind of leaning on the other person.
Yeah. And the other's trying to offer guidance,
Yeah.
Be helpful.
Right. Right.
But what really struck me was this tension around honesty.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They both seem to be struggling with, how much to reveal.
Yeah. How much is too much?
And what'll happen if they do?
Exactly. Like, what are the consequences?
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
They're on a tightrope.
Totally.
They want to be truthful, but they're also
scared.
Terrified.
Right. What if it blows up?
Of the fallout.
Yeah. And this plays out on different levels, too.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's not just about being honest with each other. It's about being honest with themselves, too.
Yeah.
They're each trying to figure out their own needs, their feelings, and that makes it harder to communicate.
Oh, for sure.
And it adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah, if you don't even know what you want.
All right, exactly.
How can you tell someone else?
And they even mention how past actions can mess things up.
Yeah, like that infidelity.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
He casts a shadow.
For sure, it becomes part of that iceberg.
Right. Always lurking there.
Exactly. You can't just pretend it never happened.
It shapes everything.
Yeah, it's always there under the surface.
It's like they're walking on eggshells.
Totally, like one wrong step and everything explodes.
Yeah, and that kind of dynamic,
It creates imbalance.
Totally. One person's holding back.
And the other's left wondering.
What's really going on?
Exactly. It's all this guessing and uncertainty.
Not good.
Not good at all.
And this leads us to how they handle conflict.
Okay, yeah. How do they fight?
Right. And there's this mention of fair fighting rules.
Oh, fair fighting rules. Interesting.
What do you think about that?
Well, on the surface, it sounds kind of good.
Yeah, like setting some ground rules.
Yeah. Boundary structure, but it makes you wonder if they're missing the point.
Right. Are they even dealing with the real issue?
Exactly. If you need a rule book to argue.
Is it even a healthy relationship?
Good question.
It just highlights how differently they approach conflict.
Yeah, one seems to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, maybe from their childhood.
Maybe learned behavior.
And the other one's like super direct.
Yeah.
Confrontationally.
Oh, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, that clash is going to cause problems.
Misunderstandings, for sure.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And speaking of childhood, we get some glimpses into one person's upbringing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not pretty.
No, it's intense.
Controlling parents, the pressure to get good grades.
Yeah, that weird story about the robot sex toy.
Oh my gosh, that was a lot to process.
That was wild.
It was, and it brings up this idea of narcissistic parenting.
Okay, so break that down for us.
Sure.
What does that even look like?
Well, imagine growing up where love and approval are conditional. You're constantly trying to please your parents, meet their expectations, but it's never enough.
So it's not about genuine connection.
No.
It's about performance.
Exactly. And that can create a pattern.
Okay.
Where you put everyone else's needs before your own.
Always seeking validation.
Yes.
From outside sources.
And that could explain why this person struggles with assertiveness.
Makes